What up, everybody? Welcome back to Tale of the Tape, brought to you by Gym Bag Entertainment, and this is your combat sports show by guys who love talking combat sports. As always, I'm your host, Craig, here with my co-host.
Your ill-prepared enunciator?
Okay, I'm liking it.
You're busy as hell broadcaster?
Yeah, the busy as hell broadcaster. Got it. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Last week, we had UFC Fight Night, Nicolau versus Perez. And this coming weekend, we have UFC 301, Pantoja versus Erceg. And I was actually looking at this card, and it is sneakily good.
Yes. That fight night was pretty good.
Yeah, fight night wasn't so bad. There were a couple fights that were lackluster. I didn't pay attention to all the fights, but I did pay attention to some of them that I felt like mattered a lot.
Absolutely.
Before we jump into those fights, I've got some good news.
Yeah, let's hear it.
A lot of stuff going on. First and foremost, one of the funniest things that happened over this past week is Dana White fires back at all of the naysayers. Dana White creates what can only be described as a battle rap video of him just poking at the trash talking bears.
Yeah.
So basically, it was a bunch of UFC sports analysis who have their own podcasts and YouTube videos, and they were all dogging on the UFC 300, saying that this isn't living up to the hype, and that they need better people to pick fights, and that the main event wasn't going to be good enough for the likes of 300, that the Gaethje and Max Holloway fight was stupid, and all this other stuff. And then highlight reels of just all that was
Incredible
UFC 300
fights all night.
Yeah.
I think we discussed it, and the only thing they did wrong was, maybe putting Bo Nickel too high, and he shouldn't have been in the main card.
Correct.
We should have had the Prochazka versus Rakic on
100%.
on the main card instead of that, and it would have been, the best card that you've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I thought it was super funny, and I always talk about the fact that I listen to...
He takes so much crap from the media people.
But the fact that he's willing to engage and fire back and get on that level is one of the reasons why we love Dana White.
Absolutely.
I always say it a lot. I listen to the Shop Show a lot. I like his show, but I heard him just trash talking UFC 300 for like 2 months.
Yeah.
And then he plays the video on his show, and he's like, he loves the comeback. He ain't mad about being a part of it, about being part of one of the people he's talking trash. But I will like to say the man did try to backpedal and say, oh, this was in January and February. And I'm like, man, you was talking trash till about 3 weeks before this event happened. But whatever the case may be, he's taking it on the chin. And this was just a funny little thing Dana White did. And I hope this speaks to more future stuff that Dana White might try to be more interactive against the media.
I think it's great him going back and forth with the media, Usually it's just bad.
Yeah.
He's hating on somebody, or like there was the Canadian guy Ariel Helwani, who's like nowhere around the UFC anymore because they just butted heads.
Yep.
And I think they understand that is what happens if you butt too much with Dana White.
Absolutely.
So, you keep it light. He'll keep it light with you.
And he'll keep it light with you. Exactly.
We don't hate on you, Dana.
Absolutely. Right. So if you want to show some love to your boys, we give you nothing but love.
We are not those guys.
No.
We do nothing but praise.
Absolutely. Next on this, I got the drama between Ilia Topuria and Max Blessed Holloway, with a sprinkle of Alexander Volkanovski.
Little sprinkle.
Volk wants the rematch first because he believes Max Holloway can beat Ilia, and he wants to be the one to get the belt back because I'm assuming he believes there's no door that Max can open against him, but he doesn't want Max to take away that ability to get the belt back from Ilia.
Which I love because he wants to fight Topuria.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's had enough of Max.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wants that win back.
He wants that W back.
More than the belt.
And Cormier kind of came in on this. Daniel Cormier had some things to say, and it's about Ilia Topuria, telling him he's not coming off good as a champ right now.
Yeah.
He's saying, and I like what he's saying. He's saying not only does he need to call out Max Holloway, but he needs to pick a date.
Yeah.
I want Max Holloway on this date, and then it puts the ball back in Max Holloway's court to say, I accept this fight. Because right now, it's Max making all the waves, and he's the star right now.
Yeah.
And
I totally agree. Act like you're the champ. Take the reins.
Yeah.
Let people know what you're gonna do. You know what I mean?
then do
Whether
it.
you're gonna fight, who you're gonna fight. Yeah. I agree.
yeah, 100%. Because there's not a fight I think anybody wants to see more, especially after this Gaethje fight, than Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria.
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from Volk. Volk is one of the best, if not the best, featherweight champ we've had.
Right.
Even over Max Holloway, because triple time over Max. So. And I'm not as excited about a Max Volk fight, but an Ilia fight versus Max, that is money in the bank. Take all of it, and I can't wait. I'm hoping we get to see it.
Yeah, and I can be almost just as excited for a Volk Topuria rematch.
100%.
You know what I mean?
And Volk deserves it, even more so. But
Because we know with how good he is, it'll be a different fight.
absolutely. But has he taken enough time off?
Right, I don't think so.
I think he needs more.
With the way his schedule was leading up to it.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Like, I understand his need to want to get in there and take it away from Topuria, because Topuria took it from him.
Right.
But you need the time off,
Yeah.
and it's not gonna. It shouldn't happen right away. And Max should be able to step in.
I agree.
All right, some disappointing news coming out of the boxing world.
Yeah.
So first, we had Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney, and this was a kind of a clinic of Ryan Garcia taking away that jab of Haney and really putting in that left hook on him.
Speed and power.
And
won the day for sure.
Yeah, he came in overweight, stepping on the scale, drinking beer.
Right.
We talked about this last week, I think, right?
Right. Seemed purposeful.
Yeah,
the weight miss.
Seemed very intentful. But he gets this huge win, biggest win of his career, over the biggest opponent he's faced. And now reports are coming out that not only did he test positive pre-fight, but also test positive post-fight.
Yeah.
And he's coming out with a video saying fake news, never tested, never cheated, never have, never will, never did. And this doesn't look good on Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, immediately comes out to try to shut it down and, acting like it's nothing. But, the VADA, the VADA, it's the same as like the USADA.
Yeah.
They don't, put out information unless it's real. And day before the fight, the test is, the test from that day shows that he had Osterine in his system, which is a terrible steroid. It's quite the performance-enhancing drug.
Wow.
So it's not a messed-up test.
Yeah.
And then you have the test
And it's one of
post-fight.
those things, I'm assuming you know more than me, it's not one of those accidental or incidental.
You didn't get, like where you got a trace of it from something else.
Yeah.
Sometimes we hear that with...
like with John Jones.
A supplement
Yeah.
that had, a little bit of something could make you test positive, but it's not clear.
Yeah.
But they said this is clear. And, it's pretty upsetting,
Man.
So
clearly there's going to be some sort of disciplinary action that comes forward. I'm assuming...
the win will go away.
Yeah, the win is going to be changed to a no contest.
Yeah.
And this is bad for Haney as well. Like, the one thing everybody knows about Haney, if you are familiar with boxing at all, is this man has the highest work ethic in boxing.
Right.
He might not be the most athletic, he might not be the strongest.
And he's the cleanest guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's very much about being professional and making weight, passing the drug test constantly. That I've always liked about him.
Yeah, probably the most professional boxer that we have. And so now when you take an L to a guy who's tested positive, it does, I think to some degree people will always remember what happened in the ring and not what might have been a symptom of it. And so I feel like that's something unfair to him,
It is. However, I like to, give him a little positive light by saying, he fought a man that was overweight and juiced up from the reports, and still lasted.
Yeah.
Still kept getting up. Showed, that he got that dog in him.
Correct.
And I think for serious boxing fans, it'll garner some more respect.
Absolutely.
It has from me.
100%.
He didn't even bash Ryan. Like, he said it's a shame that this is happening,
Yeah.
But what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? So we'll see how it plays out. I assume at least 1 to 2 years. This is, I'm assuming also
There has to be
a first time. Yeah, first time offense. So I'm assuming it will probably be a year. But I don't know how severe the boxing commission is.
They haven't announced a suspension. It will be with the athletic commission of the state, that they fought in.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a bad look. What's it do for his career?
Yeah.
Because he was doing all that crazy stuff. People didn't mind it because he got the win, and people were like, "Oh, okay, he's trolling everybody," and But now you look at it, and it just looks like scandal and controversy, and
Absolutely.
no good.
And not to stick with the negative, but we gotta address this. Francis Ngannou, former UFC heavyweight champ, boxer and PFL fighter. 15-month-old son Kobe passed away.
Yeah.
No further news given on
he's
what
very private.
on what caused his passing. But I mean, this got to destroy a person.
Yeah, I never, heard of his wife or his family. He keeps that stuff close to the vest.
Yeah.
And for him to come out and even give a statement, I thought was, something. And it kind of shocked me, of course.
And such an incredible guy. Not that anybody deserves to lose their kid, but
No.
a guy like Francis Ngannou, you hate to see him go through such a tragedy like this. And for a kid so young, I got a daughter myself, roughly around the same age, a few months older, and I don't know if I would be able to.
Yeah, it's rough.
Where
do you go from there?
Yeah.
And
but
condolences
and to his family, and
obviously.
prayers to his fallen child, and hopefully he can find a way to move forward. And
it's
I don't
tough
know.
being on top of the world and then something like that.
Yeah, it kills you.
Just hug your loved ones.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So to try to move into a more positive light, a little funny situation happened the other day with Alex Pereira and Daniel Cormier.
Okay.
They were backstage somewhere,
Was a little wrestling. Was
yeah,
it?
little wrestling going on between Alex Pereira and Daniel Cormier, and to much surprise, Alex Pereira takes Daniel Cormier down, and Daniel Cormier called for security.
I didn't see the video. That's great.
So, clearly all fun and games. But, I mean, even from a playing standpoint, knowing what you know of Daniel Cormier as a wrestler, Alex Pereira was really using his some good takedown moves.
I couldn't think that he has no grappling. Obviously, he might be behind a big-time wrestler.
Yeah.
But he's trained with Glover Teixeira now for years. Glover, a decent wrestler, great jiu-jitsu on the mat.
Yeah.
So he's got to be able to.
He's got to have something,
Yeah. So,
but he wasn't escaping. He was initiating, and he got the double leg takedown on Cormier.
The natural power has to translate to overall strength too,
And he is he is a solid individual.
Yeah.
So he is extremely strong.
I think his height plays the worst for him when it comes to grappling.
Oh man.
Because a shorter bull wrestler. But who is that in the light heavyweight division?
Nobody really. Yeah, there's not many guys who are going to be able to do something like that to him. Heavyweight division is a whole nother story. Right. And I didn't get to read into it, but he did sign a new fight. He did sign a new fight deal, and I think part of that is going to have something to do with the heavyweight division. I'm not 100% certain. Like I said, I didn't really read into it, but he signed a new fight deal with the UFC, and you gotta imagine there's going to be something in there having to do with the heavyweight division.
Absolutely. He was teasing it already. And I wouldn't mind seeing it. He cuts a lot of weight. So let's see how hard he hits at 230 without cutting any weight.
I got to imagine that the power. I feel like he's gonna be like the guy who it travels with him no matter where he goes.
Going up in weight. I mean, 0 weight cut, that only makes you hit harder.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And I think
And the
with a
extra
guy who
weight
has a
on your
little
frame.
tiny bit of a suspect jaw, got to make you even more durable. So, and you got to be taking shots from guys at
that's
the
true.
heavyweight.
Yeah, suspect at middleweight.
At
give
middle,
him that.
yeah.
You know?
So no test at the light heavyweight division. All right. So another piece of interesting news: Yuri Prochazka considering the move to middleweight. I'm assuming after a title shot at light heavyweight, but he has talked about and has considered the possibility of moving to middleweight.
It's interesting.
And Robert Whittaker having something to say about this, saying, I would prefer you stay at the light heavyweight because I think you're a really cool guy, but if you come to middleweight, we will be enemies.
Yes.
And, that's all
have to be.
lighthearted fun,
Of course.
and Robert Whittaker style.
And
But
very classy way to say it.
Yeah.
Classy way to say, I'm going to have to beat your ass if you come down to middleweight.
100%. But it's interesting. I mean, I feel like Yuri is...
I feel he's way too big.
Way too big. Because he looks shredded at light heavyweight. So how can you get down?
And he's also, super tall.
Yeah.
I don't know. He looked against Pereira. He looked bigger.
Yes.
So
I think it's a move that probably won't happen. Yeah. To be honest with you, he doesn't even appear to be someone who could go up to heavyweight.
Right.
Like he seems like one of the, like Jamal Hill.
That's your class.
He's meant for that class. And we'll see how it goes in the future, but it is a conversation, and we'll see how that plays out. And he could be very fun in that division if he could make it to that division.
I agree. Yeah.
And then we got some UFC history. Charlie Arnault makes UFC history as the first female announcer.
Oh, that was pretty good. Right?
Yeah, and this past weekend, UFC Fight Night, Joe Martinez loses his voice for a short period of time. And I remember it kind of blew my mind because I didn't realize it.
I was saying, man, he's in the bathroom. Give me a break.
Yeah.
He couldn't hold it.
He could not hold it. 100%. He had to go to Code Brown.
Yeah.
And it couldn't wait. So, excuse me.
Either way, whatever the reason.
So Charlie is a post-fight interviewer.
Yep.
And I guess what happens is, story is Joe Martinez loses his voice. They're scrambling, trying to figure out what to do next. Charlie is in makeup, and they ask her if she could do it. And she's like, excuse me, what are you asking? Huh? And they're like, we're scrambling right now. If you could do it, we need to know right now. Because if not,
read this card.
Yeah, we need to move on to try to figure out something.
Because any number of people could just read it and it would get it done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she is terrified and says, I don't think that I'm the right person for this. And as the producer walks away, the two makeup artists are like, are you crazy? Right. What are you doing?
Go get your
You
face
are
in the
great.
ring. Yeah.
You are great. You're confident. You know you can do this. Tell him you could do this. And the guy must have heard it. He turns around and she was like, if you guys need me to do this, I think I can do it.
I'll do it.
And so she steps in. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've heard female announcers before. She's not the best.
No.
But short notice, extremely short notice, extremely nervous. She did a good job.
I thought it was good. She didn't stumble on any words.
No.
She announced it right, said that that's all they needed from her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She did it. She did it as easily as possible.
She put a little bit of, inflection on their names as much as she could.
As much as she could.
Without straining her voice.
If she could have given us a little more volume and a little bit more excitement,
but she didn't have any time to practice it.
No practice.
She probably didn't even run through it before she said it live.
Absolutely
and
not.
I think that's pretty cool to get it right.
And it's pretty cool that you got an opportunity that you never expected to happen.
Yeah.
You get to make UFC history.
Absolutely.
No matter what happens from this day forward, you're in the history books as the first UFC MMA women's announcer in the octagon.
Right.
So, boom.
Yeah,
props to you.
Even if they end up finding a full-time female voice, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Charlie's still first.
She's first.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
It's just like
And
the guy
who knows-
who beat John Jones.
Who knows what it might lead to?
He may not have gotten a real victory,
Right.
but he's the only guy who gets the one
Yeah.
on John Jones. So props to Charlie.
But
and
maybe she loved it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean, I haven't heard what she thought about the experience.
correct.
You know, and maybe it
she
leads.
did. I think from what I saw, I'm pretty sure she enjoyed it.
How could you not?
Yeah.
I mean, after you walk out, it's got to be like, oh, that was cool.
And who better to be the announcer in our ladies' night card
Right.
than Charlie
I like
Arsenal?
it.
Arnold.
And she, if she, practices a little, she can get some volume up.
Absolutely. I mean, she has some form of, she is a voice personality.
Right.
So I'm 100% certain that with her professionalism, she could get herself ready to do a card. And maybe we'll see her in the future. Hopes to it. And best of luck.
Yeah, no, I thought it was pretty cool. I liked it.
All right, next we have Tom Aspinall is a little irate, little upset at UFC 304. Will be in the UK, Manchester, and he's upset about the time. They are doing the fights in US time, so that we get the normal 10 p.m. UFC pay-per-view.
Live here at 10 p.m.
Yeah, live here at 10 p.m., which is later in Manchester. So the fight will go into the early hours of the morning, however you consider it, the early hours of the morning.
And he's not upset with having a fight at the time.
Yes.
He's upset with the local viewers.
Correct.
Having to stay up till 3, 4 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah, probably even later than that. I don't know what the time difference is.
Right.
They didn't express what the time zone difference was, and I didn't look it up. But I gotta assume we're talking like maybe 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning would be the thing now. Because if it was till 4 in the morning, it's like we got to stay up sometimes till 2. So 2 hours later for other people.
I think it's 4 or more ahead.
Yeah.
Right? So like.
And we've had to endure UFC pay-per-views that started at like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. It's happened to us before. So
yes, they do that when they're like
in China,
in the Middle East or Asia, and they are like, no, if we don't put it live here, nobody's gonna watch it.
Exactly,
like, nobody will be in the stadium.
So yeah. So we've had to deal with the early mornings. You guys got to deal with the late nights. It's a Saturday, so I mean, it shouldn't be too much trouble for anybody to begin with.
Right. I mean, it's whatever. Adjust for it. Take a nap during the day. It's
Absolutely.
a Saturday. If you're working, get out of work in the afternoon. Take a nap.
Take a nap.
And then wake up at midnight to watch the UFC.
Exactly. Right. Figure it out. We got to figure it out. You got to figure it out as well.
Do it all the time. I'll watch it the next day.
Exactly. And then we got some, I say this is upset news. Okay. Dustin Poirier, the Diamond, Dustin Poirier, has said Islam Makhachev might be his last fight in the UFC. He might retire. And it's not 100% guarantee, but he's looking towards retirement. And that's actually not a good sign going into a big fight like this.
Right, because, he's got his eyes on the horizon maybe of what happens after.
Becoming a colorful commentator.
I don't doubt he's probably got business ventures here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need the UFC money.
Absolutely.
And he's probably got something in the works that will pay more, or something that if he's had more free time. Yeah,
he's got to have something.
He's quite the businessman.
And he's given us everything.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't have anything more to prove or give except to take that world championship. Is
absolutely.
What he really wants more
and if he doesn't win the championship, then I don't believe he wants to be a prize fighter.
Right.
I think it's title or nothing, and this is his last opportunity.
I think the retirement talk might be more about if he loses the fight rather than winning. I feel like if he wins it, that he'll stay to try to defend it.
Oh, 100%.
But if he loses against Islam, then he might be thinking, okay, I'm not getting that belt. I don't want to do it anymore.
What a greater scenario than for Dustin Poirier to win the title against Islam, and then for his final fight, defend it against Max Bless Holloway.
Oh, man. Right.
Like, it's not ending the trilogy because we all know Dustin Poirier is up 2-0.
Right.
But as a final fight, two dudes who are BMFs to the T that will stand and bang, and it will be fun and it will be exciting. that would be a great end to the chapter of Dustin Poirier.
However it plays out, the career of the Diamond has been possibly, top 3 in the UFC to me. He is definitely right now like my current favorite fighter in all of the UFC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just love him.
Yeah.
All around.
There's nothing, like, to be honest with you, one of the things that makes me love Dustin Poirier so much is that before I knew Dustin Poirier, I didn't want to like Dustin Poirier because he looks like one of those guys.
And when he was first coming out, he was mean, too.
Oh, was he?
Like, he talked a lot to his opponents, Okay.
What I mean? He had that Jersey Shore douche vibe, but then you find out he's such a great dude.
He came off too confident.
Yeah.
And he had times where, like, when he fought McGregor for the first time, you're like, damn, this kid's mean. Like, he was being the mean one compared to Conor. Well, because Conor will say little things.
And Conor wasn't at that place yet.
Right.
Before he fought Dustin Poirier.
But he said good enough little things that, pissed Dustin off. And you seen the side of him like, damn, this kid's kind of mean. Conor's being the nice one.
Wow. Conor being the nice one is weird.
But then, he just put in the body of work and just grows on people. Never has anything bad to say. No. Doesn't have any scandal.
Super honorable,
Just a great dude.
It'll be sad to see UFC minus Dustin Poirier.
Absolutely.
100%. So we hope that it doesn't end. But if it does, we are appreciative of everything
and whatever
they
he
brought.
chooses, I'd be fine with. Like you say, he don't owe us anything.
And I think he'd be a great commentator.
Absolutely,
100%.
Yeah. He's got that tiny little bit of like New Orleans accent.
A little bit.
That sounds really good, actually.
So, outside of the UFC, I'm usually not the one who has it, but I gotta hit this. Platinum Mike Perry.
Yeah.
Makes quick work of Thiago Alves.
Yeah.
And 60-second knockout.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. What's weird to me is he's undefeated in the middleweight division, but there's no belt.
No belt for any middleweight fighter.
Yeah, like there was a fight before his.
He had a title fight.
Yeah, the fight before his was a title fight. How does he not have a belt?
But he was the main event.
Yeah, he's the main event.
Because he's the biggest draw in the company now.
And he's the highest paid fighter on the card, $600,000, and he don't got no belt. But the guy, like that means to me that your belts mean nothing. If the biggest star and the undefeated champion of the entire, they did call him the king of badassery or something like that. Like, he's the king of bare knuckle.
Yes, for sure.
But he ain't got no belt.
Yeah.
There's nobody they had to bring in someone to fight him.
Yeah, pretty much. The big name for BKFC is Lorenzo Hunt, who I'm a big fan of, and he was the title fight.
And he lost.
And he got hit with a good shot. He had plenty left in him, but he fell with his arm behind him and dislocated the elbow. That was terrible.
Terrible. He was like,
But he's a 2-division champ himself. Yeah, he's the most gold-stacked fighter, for BKFC.
You know what I thought was weird?
I can't understand why Perry hasn't had a title fight.
What's weird to me is they stripped Hunt of the belt and gave it to the other dude. It's like that should be a medical stoppage, not a dub.
Right. I thought it was weird that they called it a TKO because his arm broke.
Yeah, this is like, it's not MMA.
He dropped him with the uppercut.
Yeah.
He fell down because he was punched.
Yeah.
And admits it.
Yeah, of course. 100%, but he wasn't out.
And showed not even a inch of pain.
No.
He was just like, oh, man.
Yeah, look at it. Yeah.
I was like, geez, how hard
crazy.
are you, bro?
Yeah. But yeah, I'm assuming there isn't even a middleweight belt because there's no way it's not Mike Perry.
How does he not have a title shot? I think.
Is there a title to have?
I don't know, but I mean, what they've done with other divisions is just, make the two best fight and give the winner a belt.
Yeah. And that,
and make him the champion.
And now he's calling out.
How do you crown a champion?
Yeah. He's calling out Darren Till.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because Darren Till went crazy, left him a message, and said all kinds of crazy stuff.
And Darren Till wants to fight him. He said wherever. So maybe we can get Darren Till to come over to Bare Knuckle and give Mike Perry a little competition.
Yeah, I think Darren Till will get whooped.
I think most people in Bare Knuckle against Mike Perry are getting whooped. I mean, look at he beat. It was a decision, but he handedly beat even the likes of Michael Venom Page. Mm-hmm. And I would say in the octagon, Kevin Holland is better than Mike Perry, but Mike Perry put it on Michael Venom Page.
That style of fighting is just tailor-made for him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no fear, strong jaw, and hands of steel.
Yeah, took it to Eddie Alvarez, and he's just beating up everybody over there. Yeah.
And then another weird one in the BKFC, you had Rothwell versus Duffy, and Duffy just was like, "No, I had enough."
Yeah, just folded.
Yeah, he tapped out. From strikes. Didn't even look damaged.
Yeah, super weird.
I think though he touched his shoulder when he was talking to the ref. So I don't know if he hurt himself somehow, but
it's possible.
He definitely called it quits.
I just remember that he was booted from the UFC after 2 suspensions from the athletic commissions for failed tests.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's not a surprise.
He doesn't do well without the steroids. His body falls apart.
Yep.
That's what I think.
That's what it's got to be. And then finally, sticking last one for the BKFC is Conor McGregor gets ownership. He becomes a partial owner of the BKFC. So now, another venture that Conor McGregor's come into, and Conor McGregor doesn't do anything half-stepping.
Right.
So look to the BMC.
To it,
look for the BFC to take a step up in the future.
And just having his name attached to it brings in so much. It's a smart idea all around.
100%. 100%. He always wanted a piece of the UFC. I don't know if he ever got that, but he has a piece of BKFC, and sky's the limit for this guy.
And it's entertaining. It's a good sport.
It is. Because it's not like that was the one thing I think I might have been confused on when it first started. Is there's no MMA. It's just boxing, no gloves.
Yeah.
And man, these guys put in work.
Yeah. Rule set a little different. You're allowed to clinch a bit. You're allowed to dirty box. You can
I've seen that.
Punches.
Yeah.
But. Yeah,
it's nice.
And there's quite a few skilled fighters.
Very much so.
It's not just slinging punches. And
you've got a lot of former UFC fighters, but there's some I would say lower ranked.
The light
MMA.
heavyweight champion is ex pro boxer.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Oh,
and he fights smart.
Smart, yeah.
It's not a just throw and throw.
I know Mike Perry is definitely a brawler, but he did look very calculated against Alves.
And just the fortitude. I don't think anybody will beat him because his fortitude is too much.
Too much, and he just has that pressure. Yeah. So he's real nice with it. All right, now we got to talk about UFC Fight Night. Nicolau versus Perez.
Yeah, it didn't disappoint. It was pretty good.
I think there was a few fights that had me, slightly disappointed.
Absolutely, but when you look at it on paper, you think it's going to be a snoozer of a card.
100%. Like, it did not look entertaining at all. But let's bang through this real quick. We got Gabriel Benitez versus Mahashate. Okay. Yeah. I'm getting better with that.
Right. Mahashate with the split decision. Benitez been there forever. Mahashate takes the decision from him.
Yeah.
So maybe he's going to make some waves.
Yeah, there we go. Future fights. Women's flyweight bout. We have Ivana Petrovic versus Liang Nan, and we got a submission in this one.
Petrovic had some nice top control. I thought she was going to get that arm bar early, but she ended up getting the
rear naked.
The arm triangle.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't it like the...
It was kind of like the, what do they call it? The Ruotolo?
The Ruotolo.
Yeah.
The Ruotine.
The Ruotine.
Ruotine. Yeah, when I saw that, that's what I thought. Is that it must have been, it looked like what the Ruotine must have been.
Round 3, minute 29 seconds. I think that was pretty good.
Real nice. In the lightweight division, James Yontop.
Well, that's a hard one. You can get the pass on that. It was Hamesh Yontop.
Hamesh Yontop. Okay.
Yeah.
Versus Chris Padilla.
Yes. And Padilla stepped in, I think they said, 10 days notice.
Wow. That's
and
impressive.
Was explosive as hell.
Yeah.
And he knew, let me get him in the first round because
you got to.
I'm gonna run out of gas. On 10 days' notice, it's hard. That's the thing to do. Give him everything in the first round and hope that you get him.
And hope and pray that you get him.
And you got that rear naked choke right before the end of the round. That was good.
Nice. And then we have the strawweight division, Marnik Man versus Ketlin Sosa.
I did not watch it.
I did not. Unanimous decision for Sosa.
Yeah, she got the unanimous.
This one I saw a little bit of, Dontel Mays versus Caio Machado.
Yeah. It was Kyle.
All right. Dontel Mays got the unanimous decision, and I don't know that I saw it that way. To be honest with you, I don't know that I saw it as a unanimous.
Right.
But I don't think maybe I just didn't watch close enough.
Yeah, it was a little bit snooze-ish.
Sloppy.
Like the towards the end of the second and then the third round. These are, those types of big guys that get too damn tired if they fight too long.
Yeah.
And, they put too much to work in the first round. But Mays looked good in the first round.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that.
He did look good in the first round. I think it just got sloppy in the end.
Yeah, and
so
he just grinded it out better.
All right, and then in the lightweight division, former Ultimate Fighter contender Austin Hubbard taking on... is it Mikel Figlat or Michael Figlat?
I didn't hear announced.
I'm going to say Mikel.
So I would go with that. Looking at that last name, that works.
And then Austin Hubbard gets the decision.
Unanimous, right?
One of the only Ultimate Fighters from his season to get a dub in the UFC. So pretty impressive for him. Main event of the prelims is Ronnie Yahya versus Victor Henry.
Yeah, Yahya, he's forever just a grappler. Like, he'll never learn how to strike, it seems. He's been around forever, and he just eats punches. And Victor Henry just puts him away in round 3.
Just overwhelming with punches.
And he gets tired, Yahya, too. And he was
with all that grappling, it's bound to happen. All right, and then performance of the night and start the main card, welterweight bout, Tim Means versus Uros Medic. But great fight. Means overmatched here. It wasn't a bad stylistic matchup, but Means couldn't get his pressure on him that he needed because Medic's footwork was too damn good. Yeah.
And he just started landing counter punches, and he put the perfectly timed left uppercut from the backhand. Like, he didn't see it coming. Means stepped right into it, like hitting a brick wall.
Yeah, and that was one of those walk-off ones, too.
That was a good one.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm surprised this one didn't get a performance of the night either. Jonathan Pierce versus David Onama. And, man, David Onama's ability to slip from submission and from control,
and to just keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not get
worn out.
And not get what's it called? Not get down on yourself.
Oh yeah. To losing confidence.
Not to lose your confidence and to stay with it and stay in the fight.
Oh man.
Because he was getting swarmed.
Swarmed. And this is another one that I love Onama.
Right.
And I thought he looked good. I don't know that this was unanimous.
Right.
And I don't know that he won.
Right. Does it, because, of the punches, does that negate all of the danger you in? I don't know.
Yeah. So, because here's where I give him the credit. Yes, striking, he outlanded.
Absolutely.
Especially in the third. He reversed every takedown.
The strike discrepancy is big,
Yeah, and then he reversed not every takedown, but every position. Yeah. Every time he was in a negative position, he did reverse it. But there was some top control. There was submission attempts and a lot of takedowns from Jonathan. So I felt like it at least deserved to be a split decision. Yeah. Unanimous was kind of tough for me, but the judges gave it.
I was okay with Onama taking it.
I was okay with him getting the dub. I would have liked to have seen a split. Performance of the night in this one, and this was awesome. Austin Lane versus Jonata Denise.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, Jonata. Whatever.
Jonata Denise. Yeah.
What a comeback.
Yeah. Austin Lane with some great wrestling.
Yeah. Great control.
Can't let him up.
No.
Got to finish him when you got him there. You know,
man.
like if you're mounted on a guy and you're that big, you gotta put him away.
Gotta
you
put him
know?
away.
And got too tired.
Yeah, way too tired.
And he's huge though. Like how big is he? 6'7"?
No, he's not just huge, but you could tell he's heavy.
Yeah.
Like he's carrying a lot of weight with nobody on him, let alone trying to take people down.
And then all that wrestling work, throws a bunch of punches while down there. You know, can't put him away. It's not powerful enough with the strikes. I think.
No.
You know, so and he wants to ground and pound. It looked, but you know, maybe he should have been looking for a choke or something.
Yeah, definitely should have went for a submission.
But you know, Denise stays with it. Lands a few.
Whew.
They pile up. The fatigue piles up,
Yeah.
and you could tell that was definitely a factor.
Oh, it couldn't have been more of a factor.
But then he hits him with a shot where it kind of looked like he shut the lights out, and he was just there, like okay. And then every time he touched him after that, it was like, oh no.
Yeah,
And then the
completely
lights
fighting
went out,
on
and then he
instinct.
went just face down.
And it was so awkward because it was like a slow motion fall, but in live action.
It reminded me kind of when Derek Lewis would tie Tuivasa, was it with the elbow
with
close,
the elbow.
and then he just falls.
Boom.
Yeah, you know, like
Yeah, that was
just-
a tough one.
yeah, because he was doing good, but he needs to work on that gas tank and that finishing from top position.
Absolutely.
You know, he had
Gotta get it done.
plenty of time to finish that guy off.
Got to get it done. All right, women's flyweight bout. Ariana De Silva versus Karine Silva. And this one also went to a decision.
Lipsky must have got married.
Yes.
Ariana
Oh, yeah.
Lipsky. Yeah.
That is Lipsky, huh? Shoot. I was wondering why I didn't recognize the name, but recognize the face.
Wait a minute, De Silva. But, you know, that's cool. We don't get, it only happens with women.
Yeah.
We've had it happen a few times now where their last name changes and we're like, what?
Oh, yeah.
It don't happen with men.
They don't happen with the men, yeah.
But unless you're Ian Machado Gary. But she looked good, Lipsky, but Karine there, you know, just had
Little bit more.
had the better wrestling, really, more than anything. Lipsky, good striker, but
Silva's an excellent wrestler. Her ground game is tough.
she just I don't know, she got to put it together more. But yeah.
And we got another performance of the night. And I got
man, well, that was good.
And I got a good one for you. Ryan Spann versus Bogdan Guskov, a.k.a. Anatoly Smythe.
Okay.
A.k.a. Euro Anthony Smith.
Okay.
Eastern European Anthony Smith.
Anatoly Smythe.
Anatoly Smythe. When I watched this dude, it was so funny because the whole time I'm like, yo,
That's
this looks
great.
like Eastern European Anthony Smith.
That's
And then the
great.
wife was like, doesn't he look like that other fighter? And I was like, Anthony Smith? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's Anatoly Smythe.
Anatoly Smythe.
Anatoly
That's
Smythe.
good.
That
I
is
like
his
it.
name on this show forever.
I like that. And those things last.
Yes,
you
they
know.
do.
A little bit of some groin shots from Spann early.
Oh,
that,
man.
you know, where it's tough because the second one definitely drives up into his stomach, but you can't deny the sound.
Yes.
When you're in the apex and you hear
100%.
clock. Yeah, and
Completely incidental.
Herb even looked at him like, what are you doing? I heard it.
Yeah.
You can hear it. Like,
Well, yeah, because he's protesting, being like, I landed the knee. He's like, you can hear it, man.
Yeah.
But, like, you got to be fair on both sides. Like, he hit the knee where it was supposed to.
Right.
It was his shin that cracked the bottom.
it sounds terrible.
Yeah.
The sound was terrible.
Like, it's hard to avoid that.
Yeah, it really is, and especially when you're a tall guy like Ryan
Yeah.
Spann and trying to get it up the middle.
And they were nice knees.
They were, but Spann ended up throwing too wild. You know, he was landing good, a good straight right hand down the pipe.
Yeah.
And Guskov started timing it, landed a couple counters, and then Spann just started throwing the big overhands and the big left hooks. And
He's just one of those guys with so much talent, but gets in his own way.
Yeah.
Moves away from the game
does.
plan.
Absolutely does. I totally agree. Once he gets hurt a little bit, you know, he wants to just go into a firefight, and that was a bad idea.
And correct me if I'm mistaken,
Yeah.
Anatoly Smythe's twin brother was the last man to beat Ryan Spann, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, with the rear naked choke.
Yes. His American doppelganger.
His American doppelganger was the last man Ryan Spann lost to. So that's pretty funny.
That's something. Yeah, Guskov with a jumping up the ranks probably from this.
Yeah.
And deserving.
Yeah, he's going to be short work to a title shot.
I think so.
100%.
That was a nice victory.
All right, and then the main event of the fight night, performance of the night again, Matthias Nicolau versus Alex Perez. And man, did this not go the way I thought it was going to go.
What a great fight.
Yes.
As it started going, as it wore on, like at the end of the first round, then I was like, oh, this is like a foregone conclusion.
Yes.
Nicolau had perfect timing, but was just waiting on the counter. And if he had just put some things together more, it would have stifled Perez's action a little bit. But his movement, the movement of Perez was incredible. He never threw a strike from the same position as the last position. Like his combos and flurries were great. He'd throw 1-2 leg kick, and then he'd be over here on the right side to throw the left hook, and then he'd be back on the left to come to the butt. It was incredible.
Yeah, oh God.
And I was like, oh, he's gonna catch him at the end of one of these combinations with something big.
He just looked incredible.
And I think it was kind of his movement. It was just great. But I think it was similar to the Austin Lane, the heavyweight fight, because Nicolau got hit with a stiff shot, pushed him back, but he showed the good game face. But I think that was the serious beginning of the end.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And he closed the distance, hit him with another flurry in the right hand at the end,
put him to bed.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was watching this with my wife, and she thought it was an early stoppage, and I would have almost agreed, but homeboy. His body dropped on him, and he had no defensive motion whatsoever.
The hands didn't come up.
Props to the ref to stopping that when he did, because he just would have ate 2 or 3 shots, hooks to the face.
Oh yeah,
and it was unnecessary.
Too, you know what I mean?
It would have been completely unnecessary. He was done.
Incredible victory. Perez got to be at he was number 8. Nicolau was number 5. So. That might put Perez right at 5.
Yeah, and short line for a title fight. So we'll see how that goes.
Great striking. It was incredible. Yeah.
All right. With the time we have left, we got UFC 301, Pantoja versus Irseg. Irseg getting a extreme jump to a title shot. What appears to be just a necessity to get someone else against Pantoja.
It kind of seems that. They don't want to see the Royval or Moreno again now.
And Moreno wants to take a break anyway.
Yeah.
Manel Kape hasn't didn't fight his last fight, which would have got him a title shot.
Probably.
Kai Kara France is, I don't know where. So, you gotta give him somebody. A big win like Ursay had the week before, shoots him up to that title shot. But the biggest fight, or at least the most notable fight of the night, is the co-main event, the return of Jose Aldo versus Jonathan Martinez.
It's huge.
Jose Aldo going away from the traditional yellow shorts and wearing the blue.
Really?
Yeah, no yellow.
Wow. That's okay.
Yeah.
I think he's been in the blue.
Main card looking real good.
Yeah.
Once again, Anatoly Smyth's American twin brother, Anthony Smith, is fighting Vitor Petrino.
Yeah, that's a good-looking fight.
Michel Pereira versus Ihor.
Yeah, I don't really
Pateria.
know the kid, but it looks like a banger, and I've been really liking Michel Pereira a lot. Yeah.
And then Paul Craig with the blonde hair coming in to open up the main event against Kayao Boralao.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we got some decent ones on the prelims, too. We got, I think Vince Pichel was in there, my mustache brother in the UFC. He's got the big power.
He's actually in the early prelims. Yeah. Second fight of the night, Vince Pichel versus Islam Bonfim.
Yeah, Bonfim, right?
Yeah, that's going to be a real good one.
Pichel with that big power.
Yeah, and then you got Gene Silva versus William Gomez. And Karolina Kovacevic versus
Always
Ismen Lucindo.
Yeah, she's
So-
always entertaining.
A lot of good fights. And we got a couple minutes. I want to breeze through this because we didn't get to do it last week. And this is the
Okay.
fights I want. These are the fights that, the fantasy fights you want to see happen. If this was a pay-per-view, it would cost the farm. But let's start right at the main event. John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, the heavyweight fight everybody really wants to see.
Right.
Tom Aspinall holding the
We
interim
might get
fight.
in our future.
Yeah, it seems like it could be a possibility.
So weird. He's going to defend the interim belt, right?
Yeah. He's defending an interim belt.
I don't know how that works.
John Jones is back in the gym.
Yeah.
Started training this
Yes.
past week.
I did hear that.
A fight we talked about previously that we think we need in the heavyweight division. If Alex Pereira goes up, Cyril Gane,
Perfect opponent.
perfect opponent.
Taylor made the movement so hard to hit.
Yeah.
Cyril Gane.
100%.
If anybody's going to give him trouble.
And
Oof.
Alex Pereira with that just forward, that step forward, one step at a time pressure. Love it. Brandon Allen's on a win streak, and he wants a title shot. I think there's one guy who should stand in his way, and that's Jared Cannonier.
I completely agree. I think, that Cannonier's getting the shaft.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
he's playing the waiting game. Allen probably, probably close to earning it.
Yeah.
Not exactly.
Not 100%.
You beat Cannonier, though.
Title shot.
Absolutely.
And then the fight we've been talking about for the last few weeks, Kobe Covington versus Ian Gary.
Oh, yeah.
100%
Fantastic
need
fight.
that.
Absolutely need that.
Fight that I think would be extremely interesting is Charles Oliveira trying to get back on a win streak, and who best to him to go up against than Matsuv Gamrot.
Yeah, Gamrot deserves a big name.
Yeah.
A big-time fight that puts him in title contention. His wrestling is just too damn good. But, do you want to play with the fire of Charles Oliveira on his back? That's a great fight.
That's a great fight.
It's a great fight.
And then we have Davison Figueiredo. He jumps up weight class to bantamweight.
Looking fantastic at bantamweight.
Yeah, and he wants to get a shot at the title, and who better to give him an opportunity to prove he's ready than Corey Sandhagen?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's not too high because
No.
Figueiredo being, the decorated champion. And, yeah.
I think he could do
It's
it.
great.
And then Brian Ortega, it doesn't look like there's any chance of him even fighting for a belt, but there's a guy who wants an opportunity to fight for the belt, and if you could beat Brian Ortega, that shoots you up. Movsar Evlov.
Oh, yeah.
Evlov.
Yeah, Mosvar, needs a opponent. He's undefeated still.
Yes.
People are scared of him. They're always scared of guys like that. They don't want to, because it doesn't get you so much to beat that guy.
Correct.
Because he doesn't have a big name, but you risk it all to fight him. Yeah.
And we were just recently talking about this men's flyweight division, and you got an up and comer in Muhammad Makayev. Let's give him Kai Kara France.
Oh, I like that.
Kai Kara France hasn't fought in a while. This guy's on the rise. Once again, a guy who wants title contention, and Kai Kara France will give you that.
Yeah.
I got a legacy fight in here. Got some ladies, and a fight that I think everybody would like to see ran back. Misha Tate has been coming back, wanting to rise in the ranks.
This is true.
And the one fight I think we'd like to see run back is her and Holly Holmes.
Yeah, nobody's upset with that, huh?
Yeah,
It's
Holly
the
Holmes is on a
point that
losing streak.
They're both in their career. Misha has had a hard time with the comeback.
But she did win her last. She won her first
she
fight,
did
lost
get
the fight, and then won her last
She
fight.
did get a hard-fought win this last time out.
So maybe she turned a corner, and it's a legacy fight, just to kind of
Yeah,
get
neither woman's going to be a title holder again.
correct. Early prelims, but at the bottom of this, I got Johnny Walker versus Alexander Rakic.
I like
Walker
that fight.
on his way up. Rakic lost his fight, so
I like that fight. Oh, and Walker lost to Ankalaev last time out, wasn't it?
yeah, he did. Oh, yeah, he did just lose to
I
Ankalaev.
like that fight
But
still.
a good
'Cause
fight.
it's two, guys losing from only contenders.
Yeah. Two guys that have kind of fallen out of popularity, I guess you would say. Dan Hooker, the Hangman,
Yeah.
needs to fight. And a guy I think who needs to restore his reputation, Beneil Dariush.
Yeah, Dariush, man. just everybody was pulling for him,
Yeah.
and then you lose one fight, and everybody's like, "Oh, God, never had any skill to anyways." Like, everybody jumped off his bandwagon.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And then, Michael Venom Page, he came in and he proved against Kevin Holland that he's built for the UFC. And there's an opponent who's admitted that there might be a boring fight, but I just want to see it anyway, is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Like, karate matchup, yeah, it could end up being a boring fight, but I don't know.
I don't see that it would be. I think Thompson would be in good standing to, avoid some of those dart-in attacks. He might see it coming more than most people,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's boring.
I don't know that it will be, because I think Michael Venom Page is going to push it on him, and I think it would be an exciting
And
fight.
I don't really think Wonderboy keeps a bad pace. He don't really fight boring.
No,
He can.
He fights. I think he fights boring against the guys who fight like Tyrone Woodley, who's just looking for the one shot and doesn't want to stand in and bang. And Venom Page wants to come in and make you miss. So it could be an extremely exciting fight, or it could just be a chess match. But
dude,
it's a
good
fight I
looking
would
fight.
like to
I
see.
like it.
If not, Ian Gary.
Yeah.
Venom Page and Ian Gary, or Wonderboy and Ian Gary, is also a fun fight. So that's all we have for you this week. Got to wrap it up. Until next week, we'll see you. Have a good night.
Peace.